Hey guys, Patrick from B Squared. Today we're going to be reviewing one of the most iconic vehicles to ever see the racetrack, the NA Mazda Miata.
This is amazing!
Today's NA Miata is a pretty simple example. It's just got some off-the-shelf coilovers as well as some Nankang NS2R tires, which are some moderately grippy 200 treadwear tires. My absolute favorite thing about this car is it's completely confidence-inspiring. It didn't take me a long time to learn how to drive it in the corners. Even by pretty much the first and second corner, I already started to realize the potential of the car. Whereas if I've driven like something heavier like a WRX, you kind of have to fight the car a little bit, try to understand its ability to survive a corner. But in a car like this, it's really confidence inspiring. You can just throw the car in there and have almost an immediate understanding of how to drive it, which is why I think it's so good for people who are just learning. And even me as a more experienced driver, trying out the NA Miata for the first time, I was like, wow, like this car is really responsive on the track. I also really like that it has capable brakes from factory. Like, I believe he had some sort of like power stop track day pad, which is like a basic track pad that you can get. It's nothing super special, and just some like high temp brake fluid so that the car is reliable on track and it doesn't have to fade. And even a track like this, like TMP is a pretty technical track. It's got a lot of cornering and braking zones. I didn't feel like the brakes were used that much, and therefore the likeliness of brake fading is really low. And of course that has everything to do with the fact that the car is just so light. The car only weighs like 2,200 pounds, so it really doesn't weigh anything. And for tires being at the 205 size, which I believe he was running on this car, it's quite a lot of grip. So I'm not too worried about the tires overheating. And with this car being pretty unmodified, you know, it's just got some basic coilovers. It doesn't have any like bucket seats or anything. It feels like the car had some incredible road feel. You know, I felt so in tune with the car. I understood completely what was happening with the car. I can catch slides a little bit sooner. You know, I'm not trying to guess what the car is doing, and you know exactly as a driver what you're doing, and you feel as if the car is a true extension of the human. And if you guys can see in the video, my hand actually isn't grabbing the wheel all that stiff. My hand's sort of loose, and that allows me to drive a little bit smoother. So if you're just getting to driving, or you've been driving for a while and you want to drive a little bit smoother, this is definitely the car to try that. Engine power delivery, super linear, although it doesn't have a lot of power because it's so light. Again, it feels just so good. If you're looking for parts, obviously this car has a ton of aftermarket support. And even if you're looking for some OEM replacement parts, this car does have a lot of the OEM parts available, or you have a lot of manufacturers who've either reverse engineered or remanufactured some of the parts that you can use to fix this car. There are always a couple of negatives though. This car does not have ABS, so if you've never driven an ABS car, you can learn it in here, but at least since the car is so light, you're not likely to flat spot your tires as quickly as you would as if you were driving a heavier car. It's got an open differential, but at least at the beginner level, this is irrelevant. And as you guys can see in the video, I'm still able to slide the car and control the car using the throttle. So I don't think the open differential is a huge factor if you're using this car as like a seat time car or a learning car. And again, even me being a little bit more experienced, I had a ton of fun with this car. I don't think the open differential is a limiting factor to how fun the car is on the track. Another disadvantage is because they're convertible, you're likely going to need a roll bar, and if you're in Canada, that is a big problem because right now when we're in sort of the COVID space, it's hard to get those sorts of big items shipped across the border. And one last disadvantage, and this can be applied to a lot of other popular, more accessible sports cars, is that there's not a huge barrier to entry that prevents people with just like really bad taste getting their hands on the car. Unfortunately, the Miata community on the surface can be perceived as sort of immature and like distasteful. But with all the examples that I've seen actually going to the racetrack, the cars are tastefully modded and the drivers are all stand-up people who are just trying to enjoy a pure driving experience with a car like this. And it's a really unique driving experience that you can't really get with any other car. So who's the car perfect for? I don't think this car is limited to people who are, you know, just getting started in motorsports. That sort of seems to be like the perception of it. You know, this is a beginner's track car. I definitely don't think that's the case. Even me with, like, I've had a little bit of driving experience, I found this car to be very satisfying on track. The car is perfect for people who typically drive some smaller tracks with a lot of corners, a lot of braking zones. Not because it lacks power, but because it's so good in the corners and it feels like, obviously, you know, that's what the car is made to do with its double wishbone suspension front and rear. It's just set up to be a great cornering vehicle. If you want to justify buying one of these, if most of the tracks in your area are smaller tracks, this is absolutely perfect for that use. If you want to learn how to drive a momentum car or prioritize lots of seat time opposed to you know, a larger vehicle that would require more frequent maintenance, this is one of those cars. This is going to be a car that's light on replacing brakes and tires because of its weight. So if you just want to continue to turn lap after lap and not have to worry too much about having to replace parts or take the car back to the shop. Especially with the engine being not extremely high output, but still a 4-cylinder, there's not a lot of load on the engine. So you're likely to have a pretty reliable experience with this car, usually trouble-free from what I've heard from a lot of Miata drivers. So if you're new into motorsports, you don't know if motorsports is your thing, this is a great car to get started. But even if you've already been in motorsports for a long time and you have a lot of disposable income for this hobby, this is still a really good car. And with its massive amount of aftermarket support, it's so easy to turn this car into the exact machine you want it to be. If you're going for casual lapping and you want to keep your budget tight on motorsports, this is the right car for that. If you want to dump a lot of money into making a crazy track car, this is also the right platform for that. I've seen people do like LS Miatas and a bunch of different swaps. Like, if you've thought about it, it's probably already been done in this car. There is a huge knowledge base and support base and community for this car. So really, it's not a bad choice at all. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you guys click the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. We're going to be releasing more track car reviews, and if you have a track car that you'd like me to review at the track, let me know in my messages or in the comments. I'm fully down to meet up with you guys at the track. I'm always down for a track day, so if you want me to come drive your car, test it out, help you judge its performance, we can do that. Give us a ring, let's get connected, and I'm looking forward to driving your cars. All of them. Catch you guys later.
This is amazing. Oh, the pedal feels really good. Yeah.